Hey guys, just before we begin, I want to let you know that I offer coaching. And so if you want me to be in your corner as you develop into someone who you are just unbelievably proud of and inspired by, check out the link in the description as I can potentially help you out with that. So, what I'm going to share with you today is one of the few extremely reliable things in life that just seems to always work. What it is it's you getting seriously disciplined and then watching how everything else seems to fall into place. Now, why does this happen? Well, it's been my experience, guys, that the only thing that's ever in the way is your own ego or mind. And what discipline does for you is it helps you to turn down the volume of this mind and focus your inner experience. And why does this happen? Well, if you look closely, it's because you're facing the truth, right? You're facing the truth of yourself every time you're disciplined. And doing this, it always happens in the present moment. So if you've applied self-discipline, if you've faced the truth of yourself and you're now feeling more conscious, more present, what's next? What happens now? Well, in my experience, guys, life unfolds way more harmoniously for you and everything seems to fall into place, right? And in a certain sense, of course it does. Of course, everything falls into place when you are disciplined because discipline clears the way in here. And once we've cleared the way within ourselves, does the pathway also become clear externally? Right? It's damn obvious after a while that your inner experience has a way of translating perfectly to your outer experience. Why? Because there's actually no difference between the two. Your inner world and your outer world are the same damn thing. And so when you discipline what's in here, this thing, that's also going to show up in your external reality, most likely with greater harmony and with greater ease. So we've got our premise here, guys. Become very disciplined and then let everything fall into place. Now, what is possible with this? Well, I'm going to share with you what I've seen in my own life. So if you become very disciplined, essentially what happens is your inner resistance, it kind of drops away, and how you feel inside is way more aligned with everything. Right? And when you feel aligned like this internally, what it does is it makes stuff happen. And the reason this is because, again, your inner world and outer world are one. They are the same thing. And so when you're feeling a freaking high vibration in here, you can guess what that's going to do out there. Right? If not, I can just tell you. It sends out the right energy. It sends out the right signals into the world. Things come easier to you. Opportunities arise. Synchronicities start to happen. You meet the right people. You have the right thoughts. You say the right freaking words. Everything becomes aligned for you when you move out of your own way. And the quickest way to do that, in my experience, honestly, is just to cultivate serious discipline over your own mind. Now, if you're hearing this and you're thinking, man, that is amazing, I'd love that. Well, first of all, there's nothing stopping you from having it right now. I'm dead serious. Any limitation that you feel is right now, it's actually being projected from within you. And if you want to, you can choose to put that projection down anytime. Right? People don't tell you this, but you're actually creating everything right now yourself. And that includes all of your perceived limitations about yourself and what you can do. Right? So realize you're putting that on yourself, no one else, okay? So you can do anything from this paradigm. And what we're doing essentially here, guys, is we're becoming more serious about creating our life from within. And when you do this, you start taking more ownership of your reality. You start to become more in charge. You start running your own life. You know why? Because you're running your own freaking mind, man. My favorite thing about being disciplined is you get to grab your mind by the balls and direct your life wherever you want to go. Okay? And the only reason this is possible is because discipline is there in the first place. Okay? And it's managing that fearful egoic voice very, very well. Because again, we know that everything is possible, right? We already know this. It's just the ego can get in the way. And so what we must do and remember is have our discipline, basically. Have our discipline as our foundation, because discipline is what helps us get a handle on this lower self, which is the only thing that's ever in the way. It's very simple. Now, when is the right time to start committing to this? Well, really, it's any time. It's completely up to you. But what I would recommend is for you to consider where you are right now in life. So what I recommend is checking in with yourself, because right now, you're on a journey, you're on a path, and you could be at any point on that path. And so what you need to do is check in with yourself and see whether or not this is feeling right for you. And I try to say this as much as I can, but you don't actually need to do any of this stuff that we talk about on this channel right away, because again, it completely depends on where you are and what chapter of life you are in. So you could very easily be in like a pleasure chasing phase or a guy or girl chasing phase. That's all good, man. I've been there too. There's actually nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's you moving through your worldly karma, so I encourage it. Right? You have desires, and you're going to need to look at those desires and maybe act on them from time to time to see what they're really saying, to see what they're really about, right? However, once you've moved on from those things, what you can do is you can start to become more and more serious about listening to your own inner wisdom. And when you really pay attention to this, what it's going to do is it's going to encourage you to become, to better yourself and to raise your level of consciousness. And so if you hear a message like this from your higher self, remember, that's the best thing you could ever hear. That's a sign also that you're probably doing the right sort of thing. Maybe being disciplined, who knows? I also want you to remember that we all, including myself, love to self-sabotage and get in our own way. However, what I've learned personally, having done this a bit, guys, done a bit of this work, is you can change everything and become a profoundly awesome version of yourself. All that needs to happen is you need to step out of your own way, and that starts with discipline, man. Now, if you're curious about how it actually happened for me, it basically got to a point where if I wasn't being disciplined, I would feel this spiritual pain, like I wasn't fulfilling my ultimate potential, right? And so what I did was I shifted the person that I am to reach a new level of discipline. And when I did that, what began to happen was my higher self started to do things for me. And I kind of just let go and allowed myself to be that higher self, right? So what I'm saying is if you want to, you can become your own inner wisdom or higher self, and you do that by stepping out of your own way and embodying it. For me, I really would say it just starts with discipline, and if you're smart, you'll learn to fall in love with that. And then finally, guys, if you actually want to do this and you don't want to delay things any longer, I want to let you know that I can support you in becoming that new version of yourself. What I do personally is I help people live into the very best versions of themselves, and I do that through my coaching. And so I just want to share with you very openly that if you resonate with what I'm saying or my energy or how I come across, then there very well could be a connection between us. Now, I speak to a lot of different people doing what I do, but here's something really cool, here's something really quite profound. We always use this, it's the same presence that we are using. We always use the same presence, and out of that presence, we create our magic together. Right, so no matter who I'm working with, we're always using the same present moment, out of which everything is created, which is, of course, always here, this present moment, and we use it to our advantage, because it's an empty, infinite space, and we use it to craft whoever you want to be. Now, if you're interested in that, you are very welcome to reach out. It really does just come down to how badly you want to be your higher self, and how badly you want to live your ultimate life. Me personally, I decided a long time ago that I'm committed to doing this in my own life. And what that made me do and leave behind was not just physical stuff and like habits, bad habits, but literally thoughts, beliefs, and ways of seeing myself and the world that I didn't even realize I was stuck on, right? So some crazy stuff is possible with this work. And if you're looking for that kind of thing with a one-to-one type thing, you can very well reach out to me and we can talk stuff through. So, that is it for me, guys, today. If you've enjoyed this one and you would like more, then my friend, please do subscribe.